I grew up in Southern California, and my dad is a United Methodist minister. My older brother played water polo and swam, and I played soccer. And then I was like, well, if he's playing water polo and swimming, I want to do that. I always wanted to be like my older brother. I was always like kind of chasing after him, like, you know, can I come too? My mom said that I was the easiest child to potty train ever, that I figured it out in one day because my older brother was going to preschool, and she said, if you want to go too, you have to be potty trained. I was like, okay. My two younger sisters, one of them is 4 years younger than me, and then the other one is 9 years younger than me. So, you know, I did all the older sister stuff. That was probably where more roughhousing came in, was that I kind of beat up on my little sister. In hindsight, I can say that I was one of the best players on the water polo team. On the swim team, no, not at all. My brother would win races, and then afterward he would puke. And that was so weird to me because I had never figured out how to like push myself hard enough so that you had that kind of reaction. My accomplishments have come because of hard working, as opposed to natural ability or talent. Which I'm not trying to say, I'm not talented just so that you can say, yes, you are. But like, I'm not the fastest learner. I don't have like ridiculous amounts of agility. Like, other people have always been faster. I've always been in the middle of the pack as far as like athletic abilities. And in water polo, one of the reasons why I did better was because I just went for it. I had intensity that nobody else had. That was really the one thing that I brought. There's an intangible quality about intensity, which is that on a team, it makes everybody else better too, because everybody gets better when you're more intense. So even though I wasn't necessarily always the one who was, the first one down the pool, or, had the best catches or the best shots or anything, like, still, if I was in the game, like, we were in the game. And you're in contact with whoever you're on the entire time. Like, one hand is on their shoulder, the other hand is on their hip. We always said that everything's legal as long as the ref doesn't see it. So there's punching, kicking, scratching, kicking off of, trying to drown the other person, kickouts, which happen almost every single game. Someone gets ejected from the game, usually happen because someone's swimming and then someone either came from behind and clubbed them, or grabbed them and yanked them straight backward, or, like gratuitous kind of like violence inside of the pool. From the time that I left water polo, that I left high school, 17, and went off and did my whole thing. And those people who sell magazines? That's what I did for 4 years. Living out of hotels and just going from like one coast to the other coast and like bothering everybody on the way. So when I stopped doing that, I moved to Colorado Springs because my brother was there, because he'd been in the Air Force Academy. And so after 4 years of not being around family, I was finally around family again. I was living as working as a bartender and a server, and totally got sucked into that lifestyle where, you make money by serving people greasy, bad food and then giving them alcohol, and then the money that I get from that I use to buy myself greasy, bad food and way more alcohol. And I realized that there wasn't enough integrity in that for me, that it was good for the time, and I glad that it happened, but it wasn't something I could keep doing. So I quit, and I got a job working at a nursery watering plants for like $5.75 an hour. I went to the gym to apply as a receptionist or a janitor because they had a pool and I wanted free access to a pool. They were like, you look athletic. Would you like to be a personal trainer? I was like, yeah, sure, I'm in. Can you guys train me? They were like, yeah. So I got a job as a personal trainer, which I was horrible at. I found out that we had an MMA team training there. I watched the practice for 10 minutes. And I talked to the coach, Chuck Daly, and I asked him if I did this, if I'd be able to hit people as hard as I possibly could would I have to hold anything back? And he was like, nope, you don't have to hold anything back. You can hit him as hard as you can. I was like, awesome, I'm in. The first MMA fight that I ever saw was from the inside of a cage. I'd never seen an MMA fight before. I'd never seen an MMA show before, none of it. 1 month after I started training, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So that was the first time that I saw the whole thing, and it was like it was scripted for me to fall in love with fighting. It was nice to be around family again. And then when I started fighting, they, for a second, were like, is this really what you want to do? I was like, yeah, it totally is. And I'm so much healthier for it. You know, I'm proud of myself. I have a chance to form meaningful relationships with other people that I train with or that I coach or that I have respect for. And that's a big deal. And I'm a much happier person. And so I'm very appreciative that my family has recognized that and been able to be behind me all the time. When I was on the magazine crew, you know, I talked to people and met them and had these great conversations, but I was trying to sell magazines based on like a lie. I'm going to college. Dude, I wasn't going to college. And so when I stopped doing that, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna try to sell anything to anybody. Not like, you know, a product, but like, I'm not gonna try to impose my will on other people for a long time. And so my interactions with people were very surface for a little while, you know, like put up the walls and things. And I think that one of the best things about MMA has to be that it gives me a chance to get to know and like other people a lot. Because in other things, you know, like I've had a regular office job before, and I didn't really like anybody. It wasn't fun. I could not see the redeeming qualities in the other people because they weren't enjoying themselves either, you know? And there's something that you bond with other people when you're training and you're sweating and you're working through adversity, which is what you do when you're training every single day, that bonds you, that you appreciate them and you have respect for them. So I think that that's probably one of the most wonderful things about MMA, is that it's given me the opportunity to learn how to respect other people, and probably myself through that too. So I learned that you really have to be in control of how positive you are. And I don't think that most people do that. I mean, I know that we all try, and I'm not trying to be all self-righteous saying that like I do it way better than other people, but and I do it too, to get really like sucked into whatever my situation is, and you know, what are the problems that I have to deal with, and I have to figure out solutions, and you know, like getting all analytical and like just stuck in a box in everyday life, and it doesn't need to be like that. It shouldn't be like that. I think that the better that an individual can do for themselves and be positive and like share that positivity, that the better that they can build up themselves as an individual, that the more that they have to offer everybody else around them. And that every time that you're sharing positivity, that you're sharing energy, and that like that energy has so much potential. It can be destructive or it can be good. And we get to choose that every day, in every second. We're choosing whether or not we're making good energy or bad energy. Maybe it's just because I get to watch them during this like pivotal time in their lives. You know, they're coming in from the ages of like 5 to 14. And I've been teaching this class for, man, it might even be 3 years now. But one of the little girls that came in, when she first came in, she wouldn't talk to anybody, and she was super shy, and she had her hands clenched at her sides and her head down all the time. And you know, through the course of the class, she over it's been a year now that she's been in the class, and she's just come so far. You know, she talks about things to the other kids and to the adults, and you know, you can see like the looseness in her body, and you know, she has a passion for the training thing. And she'd always slept in her parents' bedroom. They said that one night you know, it was bedtime, and she just went and walked into her own room one night, and they were like, this is after like 3 months of doing the class, and they were like, what you doing? Did you want to come in here to sleep? And she was like, no, I'm fine. I can take care of myself. And like, oh my gosh, my heart like exploded with joy when I heard that. And other kids, you know, I had another kid who totally got bullied a lot by other kids. His dad was talking to us about that, and he developed a lot of confidence and got better at being social, you know, and interacting with other people and not bringing that kind of energy on him. And one day a bully tried to beat up on him in the bathroom, and he whooped his ass. He was dropping elbows on him inside the bathroom, and like, you know, you're not supposed to be happy about that kind of stuff, but I was like, yeah, do that. It's awesome. Like stories like that, man. And I can't help but wonder how differently my life might have been if I had done that when I was little, if I had done martial arts. You know, I did sports, and I think that's a big deal. I learned a lot from sports. I learned how to interact with other people, and I learned how to push myself. But I think that martial arts, there's something where you learn so much more about yourself, and you learn that you do have to respect yourself, and that you do have boundaries. And when you accomplish something against someone else, you learn that you can do that. You can punch that guy in the face. You can kick him. You can hurt someone else, and that's empowering as hell. And you also learn that you can't do a little happy dance every single time, because that's not nice to the other person. So like every interaction, I feel like is has the opportunity to teach multiple lessons like that.